Hi everyone, it's Thursday, October 5th. October 8th in the evening, and I was going to talk to you about something else, but because the whole issue with the Iran agreement and deal that is being struck, I decided to bring that back up for a few reasons. Actually, for two reasons, and would call them Iran and Syria. But before we do that, I want to read something to you taken from the Uniform Code of Military Justice, the UCMJ. According to the UCMJ, it makes very clear that military personnel need to obey the, quote, lawful command of his superior officer, the lawful order of a warrant officer, lawful general order, lawful order. In each case, military personnel have the obligation and the duty to only obey lawful orders, and indeed have an obligation to disobey, I repeat, disobey, the obligation to disobey unlawful orders, including orders by the president that do not comply with the UCMJ. Okay? The moral and legal obligations are only to the United States Constitution and not to anyone who would issue unlawful orders, especially if those orders are in direct violation of the Constitution and the UCMJ. That being said, I want to talk to you about Russia in Syria, and then we'll talk about Iran. So Russia's been bombing in Syria and dealing with the situation in Syria for a few days now. And clearly they have been very, very successful, and in only a few days accomplished what the U.S. has not accomplished in about 7 years since this ordeal started. And the question that comes up is why? Why hasn't the U.S. succeeded all these years or managed to do anything about what's going on there, while Russia managed to do that in just a few days? And I can tell you right from the offset, and I'm sure you'll agree, it's not that the U.S. military is incapable of succeeding there. It's not that the U.S. military is not strong enough. It is. All of the above. It is strong enough. It is capable. It is dedicated. There is no doubt, and that our men and women in uniform are some of the best in the world. But they do have a commander-in-chief that gives them orders to do or not to do, you know, kind of a list. And when you think about what was not done, and I repeat, not done in Syria so far to prevent the deaths, the slaughter, the rape, I don't even know how to describe the atrocities committed there in the past 7 years. If something has not been done to stop it, then all you have to do is follow the chain of command, in my opinion. So a few days ago, Russian President Putin sent a message to the U.S. to remove certain assets the U.S. has in certain areas in Syria, because he said he was going to bomb those areas. So he gave the U.S. a fair warning and said, please remove your assets from there. I'm pretty sure the U.S. complied, because we haven't heard of any disasters happening to U.S. personnel in Syria, especially not by Russian soldiers. So that was that. Let's put it on the small burner for now and let it simmer while we go to Iran. Most of you are aware of the Iran deal, even if you haven't read all of it, and I'm pretty sure most people in the world have not read all of it. Still, there are still parts of it that we do know and that we have heard about, and one of those little parts is probably one of the biggest. And that little big part is the part where Barack Obama promises to protect Iran's nuclear facilities against any harm that might come to them, be it by other countries, whether it's a physical harm to the facility itself or even a cyber attack. And the question that this brings up is, how is he going to do that and why? Iran repeatedly has announced and declared to the whole world that it has an intention to obliterate Israel and make it extinct, wipe it off the face of the earth. But it also made it very clear that it wants to do the same to the United States and destroy the United States. In fact, Iran has missiles that are long-range missiles that are currently pointing at American assets in their range, okay? So why would Obama agree to protect a nuclear facility that's creating nuclear power and making it possible for Iran to have nuclear warheads for their missiles, while Iran is threatening America and, of course, Israel and the rest of the West? By the way, all of the countries in the Gulf, in the Persian Gulf, feel the same way. They ask the same question, with the exception of one country, and I'm not even going to get into it. I'm just going to say that what's happening now with the Gulf countries is amazing. Saudi Arabia is actually in discussions with Israel regarding military cooperation against Iran. So that should tell you the severity of what's going on in Iran and what Obama is agreeing to. Going back to what he's agreeing to and what he's not agreeing to, okay? I'm just going to leave you. I'm going to make this quick. I'm going to leave you with two thoughts. Obama has a year and a half left to be in office, okay? What is he going to do for the next year and a half? Is he going to leave the office with America destroyed completely? Think about that. Syria, American soldiers against Russian soldiers. Iran, if Obama plans to put boots on the ground and Israel feels threatened and is forced to attack in order to protect herself, that would make it America versus Israel. Is Obama going to bring about World War III with America going into war on the one hand against Russia and on the other hand against Israel? And while I'm asking those questions, think about how this video started with the oath. Will the U.S. military comply with an order to put boots on the ground in Iran? Would those orders be lawful? Think about that. That's it. Iran, Syria, Israel, Russia, the United States. Just think about it.